Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online, favorite podcast, favorite channel, favorite everything. We are back. You already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also, follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at BD Williams 18 for BD, right? And also pandasups.com. Use BDL for 35% off. Pandasups.com. Helping us out. Make sure you go ahead and support them. All right, BD. We are back with defensive free agency review. So we're going to do this one and then probably do another one since they wanted to go crazy and sign Austin Hooper and all that crazy stuff. So, I guess that's what they had to do. So, I'm going to give you guys some Austin Hooper. And, we got some other defensive players to look at like David Long and Duke Shelley. But today we're doing Marcus Epps, Jaquan Johnson, and Jordan Willis, who was a fan favorite signing. So we'll be breaking down all those guys. So, BD, how you feeling?
This is an interesting roller coaster of free agency here. I mean, there's more important than the breakdowns that I got for you, and we're gonna, in the pre-production, Marcus and I were talking about probably having to do a second free agency show because there's a lot of turnover on this roster. But I think the biggest thing that we need to talk about, obviously, is Darren Waller being signed, and now Foster Moreau stepping away from football to deal with, an illness. Obviously, hoping Foster Moreau makes it through this. There's no life-threatening implications or anything like that. Talking about ball. Like now, what do the Raiders have a tight end here? So what used to be a strength, all of a sudden, just overnight turned into a weakness. In a matter of a week, turned into a weakness for the Raiders here. So, is there something that maybe we can talk about scheme-wise, or something that the current players on the roster can fill this void in the meantime, or is the tight end going to have to step up? Or are the Raiders drafting a tight end? What do you think about this situation?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely points to the Raiders drafting a tight end because I think Austin Hooper, he had just as many yards as Darren Waller, and Darren Waller played like 7 games and he played every game. And OJ Howard was inactive a lot last year, didn't really play anything. So these are guys that are coming or just fill-ins. Austin Hooper, he's really not a great blocker. He never was known as a great blocker. So, that's an interesting one in the first place because we're like, Darren Waller can't block. That's why he's not here. So then we sign Austin Hooper, who can't block. And then we sign OJ Howard, who can't block. So, it's just interesting thought process there. So, obviously, they have to draft somebody who can block. And, there's some options there that they have that, I wrote an article about it, with the best tight end fits. I think a lot of those guys are people to look at. You could Luke Musgrave is somebody that I think they might draft high because I think he's at Oregon State just because he's 250 pounds, runs a 4.63 or a 4.61, one of those two, and he just has the ability to take this top off the football, and I think he's decent enough blocker because if they think Austin Hooper can block, Luke Musgrave can block just as good as Austin Hooper can. So, if it was 38, it'd be somebody like that. Of course, Darnell Washington is lurking. So, if they trade back or something, or he falls and they trade back up to get
Darnell Washington is for sure. Yeah, he's a fit.
Yeah, because they like bigger tight ends. All the tight ends, he never drafted a tight end under 250 pounds. Somebody pointed out that he did with the Rams, that he drafted Lance Kendricks, but that was a different GM. That is not the Patriots way of doing things. That's why, he didn't want Chris Ballard in Indianapolis. He wanted somebody like Dave Ziegler to come in and do the Patriots way of scouting. So we're going to get a 250-pound tight end. Austin Hooper's 255. OJ Howard's 251. It's a thing. So they got these 250-pound tight end thing they like. And I think Luke Musgrave fits that. But Darnell Washington is 264, runs a 4.6, and does all his kind of type of, the broad jump. The vertical leap for Darnell Washington's Darnell Washington is interesting because it is a 31-inch vertical. So we'll see, though, there. But they're going to have to draft one because they don't have a blocking tight end right now. None of these guys are blocking.
So at this point, though, even if Darnell Washington isn't like the most explosive guy, he's huge. And when he gets going, he's fast. right? And he's just a beast of a blocker. Then it's just like
He catches everything.
This is like the next Gronk, basically.
He catches everything. And to be honest, he's not that bad a route runner. He's just never asked to run a route. To be honest, and he would run up the seams. He would beat guys. He has this one crazy catching traffic versus Missouri where he just 3 guys like hit him while he's catching the ball and they like bounce off him.
This is a special guy.
Yeah. So, but people like Dalton Kincaid more than him, but he's too small for the Raiders. He's 245, something like that, 242. And he's Travis Kelce, like literally, because he can't block. So he's like Travis Kelce, great route runner.
He's an X.
He is Travis Kelce. Like, yeah, he's almost Travis Kelce clone. But Raiders won't be drafting him. They're gonna be drafting one of these big tight ends. Like, and it probably pissed me off. It'd be like, what's that? Payne Durham from Purdue. They're gonna do something stupid like that. Pissed me off. Can't run routes. They can block.
Hey, we'll see, man. We'll see how it turns out. Because you can learn how to run routes. Routes can be learned.
Yeah.
Routes can be learned.
Sure. That's true. I mean, he's athletic enough.
Because big man routes. You use your body.
Yeah.
It's more about learning how to lean on guys and all that stuff. Like that you don't have to be like the most athletic guy ever to figure that out.
That's Darnell Washington right there. Washington. Yeah, but he's bigger than you, catches everything. So
yeah, like he's down there, feed him in the low post. Like you're not getting, you know what I'm saying? In
the red zone, bro. Like he just throw it out to him. He's gonna catch that boy, and then people are gonna bounce off him trying to hit him.
I mean, yeah, that's a huge mismatch. I mean, if Darnell Washington is a Raider, I'd be happy about that. I mean, obviously that doesn't solve all the Raiders' problems, but that would be a huge get, right? But talk to me about this Dalton Kincaid thing. You're convinced 245. There's no way that the Raiders.
Oh no, they've never done it, and every single tight end on this team is over 250 pounds. So I don't know how. I mean, it could happen. I'm crazy. I mean, I hope it's Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta is 245, so I don't know how they feel about it. Well, hopefully they break that rule for him because that's probably my. I wouldn't say he's tight end 1. I don't think he's the best ability, but I think he's the best overall tight end. So I think Kincaid is just a monster.
Yeah,
as a receiver.
I've seen some clips from Kincaid. That is unique. That is unique for a tight end.
He's a unique tight end. But Mayer's 249 from Notre Dame. I don't know how picky they are. That's what I'm saying. I mean, you can just give the guy a sandwich, and he's over 250 pounds. So, but Mayer is probably a good fit for them too, because Mayer's which is interesting. They always draft guys that run 4.7s, and Mayer's a 4.7, 250-pound guy. So they might like him if they trade it back or if he fell, because I mean he catches everything too, and he's just a good route runner. It's weird, but he's like not that athletic. He's not as athletic as the other guys, but he's a great route runner, a great blocker. So I mean, if people compare him to Gronk, yeah, if they compare him to Gronk, he wears 87. That might be an option. We just became a tight end draft show. I'm supposed to save this for later.
How tall is he?
He's 6'4", I believe. I gotta go to my notes here. I believe he is 6'4". So I got all these tight ends listed. I don't think I can try. Here we go. Tight ends. Nah, whatever. He's like 6'4", 6'5", something like that, bro. Okay. I know he's 249 though. It's taking too long. But yeah, I mean that's kind of the situation with that. I mean, we don't have a Darren replacement if that's what we're trying to figure out. I mean, we have to draft one, and then
it's fine. What Josh McDaniels is kind of proving is that he needs certain types of players in order for his thought process to work, and in order for his scheme to take full effect and all that stuff. And he definitely was trying to fit Devontae Adams into a weird role last year. It was apparent. But Darren Waller also, yeah, you can point to Gronkowski, but Gronkowski, he was in line. He was like playing real tight end. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the body types on Aaron Hernandez is a lot different than Darren Waller, it's definitely not the same type of player, even if they are both like fast, right? Like one's 6'2", one's 6'2", the other is 6'6". You know, like it's a different thing here, right?
Yeah.
But I think it was obvious that McDaniels was struggling to fit Darren Waller into the offense as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw Darren Waller run tons of choice routes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Under Gruden, right? And that's an element of McDaniels' offense, and that's just not something that we saw him be used in or taken advantage of. So it's like, is that just not something that tight ends do in a Josh McDaniels offense? We can't expand that concept a little bit here for the tight end position, something that he's had success with in the past, and that the quarterback and him are on the same page with. That, you know, we can't do that. We can't add that element. So if Darren Waller, if he wants to trade Darren Waller, okay, what did the Raiders get for?
Third round pick, number 100.
100 overall. Trade Darren Waller for 100 overall. Okay. If you need to get guys that just fit your schemes that bad, the results better be great. You know, like it has to be. It can't be just another like 6-10 season. You know, like, come on. What was the point of all this? So,
you know, you need them scheme fits, bro. It's the scheme over everything. What else happened? I mean, they signed a bunch of wide receivers for you got DeAndre Carter and Cam Sims, but those are just camp bodies. Wouldn't worry about those too much.
Yeah, Jacoby Myers, Cam Sims, and Philip Dorsett.
Yeah, because I even think Philip Dorsett's a little bit of a camp body. I don't know how much he's gonna actually make the team for sure. You know, because they got to have at least 8 wide receivers at camp, so that's why I'm not tripping about the whole wide receiver thing like some people are. They got to fill those. They had like 3 on the roster going into free agency. They had to add like 5. So,
right,
to me, it's better than the draft.
Yeah, I mean, but so the draft isn't good this year.
Let me ask you this, BD. Have you heard anything about any wide receivers in this draft?
No.
Outside of Jordan Addison and Quentin Johnson.
I've seen Jordan Addison. Everyone down on him because he's an average NFL athlete.
So he might even go first round at this point because he's an average NFL athlete. And then Quentin Johnson, he can't catch or separate. So we're at a bad spot with wide receivers, man. And so that's why they're probably filling them in, which I wish they did with linebacker, which we didn't get into Robert Spillane this week, but I was kind of upset after watching this linebacker class that they didn't go hard on free agency and like get like a TJ Graham or somebody just to actually start at linebacker that's an actual starter, because there's really no, unless they get lucky. They got to get lucky. And where do they pick Jack Campbell? Do they wait at 70? Do they trade up? Where do they find him? Because he's like really the only, because Trenton Simpson's a project. Jack Campbell's like the only real, like I feel, linebacker that can play downhill like Patrick Graham once. Like the downhill, bang him, But
I need to watch linebackers. I will when we get done with the free agency stuff. So someone brought up in the comments a while back about Drew Sanders. Drew Sanders might be a guy who I don't know if he actually plays linebacker in the NFL, so we'll see what his position is. So
I watched him. He can't tackle. He can't tackle.
But I mean, so like we could probably pick apart a lot of these guys' games because like Sewell. I was like, Sewell, this is one of the best linebackers in this class here. Like, this is just regular tape, average stuff here, And honestly, like Spillane's tape, when we get to it next week, is not great either. So it's not gonna like relieve any questions or make you not worried about the linebacker position going into it. So I we're gonna find out what Patrick Graham's plan is for all of this. So we shall see, and maybe it's just putting a whole bunch of dime and a bunch of dime and dollar package out there and 6 and 7 wide DBs, and that's how you handle it.
I mean, Drew Sanders wouldn't be a bad edge rusher, in my opinion. He's a pretty good edge rusher.
I like Drew Sanders because he can rush.
So he can do both, but he could play off ball, and he actually I don't want to get full into the linebacker breakdown, but he's like always in the right spot. He just misses. I mean, maybe you can fix that. Maybe maybe get him in. He's in the.
I gotta watch him.
Like, because what happened was I was like, oh man, he can't tackle. So maybe it's just these games. And I went to PFF. It was like a 20% missed tackle rate. So I was like, oh wow, all right.
Oh really?
Woo.
He has an interesting story. So I'll put that on the list. I'll do a Drew Sanders.
Okay.
I'll branch out. But what we're doing right now is we're going to get into the free agents that the Raiders have signed. Like Marcus talked about early in the episode, we're going to break down Marcus Epps. We're going to break down Jaquan Johnson, and we're going to break down Jordan Willis. Before we get into it, we had there was a little thing on the live. People were like, Marcus Epps is trash. We got a trash safety. And I was like, really? Because I was watching him, and he seemed pretty good, right? And people were upset with me, and they're like, "Nah, he's trash, right?" Mm-hmm. So I'm upset. I'm upset because they may have gotten me here. They may have gotten me in the live comments. Before we get into it,
yeah,
he won't tackle. He's not a guy who you can count on, right? Like, you can't game of inches. Like, you need someone to like make a stop. This is not your guy. He's a cover safety. He's a guy who is there, for his chops and coverage. Mm-hmm. And then people are also down on him because the Travis Kelce play in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
So, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that as well. So up and down. But for what he should be used for, like if he's brought in to play box safety, and he misses a bunch of tackles, and if he's brought in to cover tight ends and he sucks at that, like this would be a terrible free agent signing, right? But I don't think that's not the role for him. I don't think that's what he's going to be here for.
Me either. When I watched him, I didn't think that either. But that's like the thing around Raiders media, Instagram guys, that he's going to play in the box, like he's a linebacker. Put him at the linebacker position, like dude, he can't tackle.
That's not the case.
He's under 200 pounds too. Like there's teams running more power these days, guys. They'll just pull a guard.
Yeah, I mean, I'll show you. I'll show you right now. So first things first. When we talk about Marcus Epps, let's talk about his coverage ability here. I know a lot of people brought up, oh, wait, no picks. Well, he should have had one right there. He just can't catch to save his life, apparently. I mean, that's why he plays on the defensive side of the ball. But you see how quick, how shifty he is getting in and out of his breaks, putting his foot on the ground, anticipating that one. I mean, this is a divisional opponent. This is another divisional opponent of theirs. You see a similar play, put his foot in the ground. Okay, contest that one. This is a catch right here against the tight end. So this is the limitations of a Marcus Epps. He's gonna, be in the right place at the right time. Bigger wide receivers will body him at the catch point. Okay, it's a very similar kind of play right here, same kind of thing, where you see him make a similar kind of break on the ball, contest this, gives up another catch against the tight end. All right. Now, when we're playing off, get a chance to undercut something, you see his footwork. You see how patient he is. He's not, guessing. He's not turning. He's going to stay square, break on that, undercut that one. And again, that is a good play, but it also, I think, just showcases a little bit of his limitations. Like, he's not the biggest guy. He's not like a freak athlete. He's a guy with some good footwork, and he might reach out and hit that or something like that. He's not going to be a guy who jumps in front of this and cribs this. You know what I mean? That's not what we're talking about here. But he'll make some plays where he gets some, pass breakups because of good footwork. Okay. Here's another one. Okay. He's playing much further off this time in a too high look. He's got to come downhill. Okay. This one is against a really good wide receiver. Again, just a bit of a limitation. So even when he's giving up catches, he's contesting them. He's making some plays on the ball. He's going to be in the right spot at the right time. But let's talk about this play right here. Okay, so first of all, I hate this as a defensive guy because you got your best player doing a little short motion to get the corner off him. Come on, play ball. You don't want Darius Slay on your best guy. You want to do a little short motion to get him on the little safety here, your cover safety. Okay, all right. So they hit him with that. They make him switch. And the reason why I'm not worried about this play right here is because when the Raiders play the Kansas City Chiefs, this Marcus Epps will not be in this position. He will be playing deep safety. I know this for a fact. This is how the Raiders played last 2 seasons, whether it was Gus Bradley or Patrick Graham. It was Trayvon Merrick's job to cover the tight ends when they got into their man coverage packages. If you have to pick a safety to play man coverage, it's going on a tight end. It's going to be Trayvon Merrick. It's not going to be Marcus Epps. So we don't have to worry about that play. Okay. Now, what he does really well, we talked about his footwork. We talked about look at his pads, always staying square, fighting to stay square as long as he can in the rep. He's anticipating. He's seeing how this. He's recognizing, okay, we got mesh here. 19 is going to sit down. 83 is going to get over there. Let me get in front of, let me stay on my leverage spot. He is just a safe player, and he knows how the rules of the game. He knows how to latch on at the end. He's going to do the right thing. He's not going to be a liability in coverage on the back end. Now, where he would be a liability, where it could rear its ugly head, is in the tackling department for Marcus Epps. He does a lot of flybys, and I think it's a combination of not taking the best angles and then also lack of effort, to be quite honest with you. So, I mean, he's not the biggest guy, not the strongest guy either.
No.
This is a really bad example. Okay. Allows that touchdown to happen, doesn't get in on that vice tackle with his teammate. And I mean, what 32 wants to happen, what 32 is hoping will happen is that, one of his teammates comes in and helps him out with this. This is a 6 foot freaking 240-pound quarterback or whatever it is, right?
0, man. He was ready to go home. The game's over, man. I'm trying to go home.
Right. So this is the kind of stuff.
We got the Niners next week.
He's like, whatever. I'm just trying to hit that ball out. Okay. Okay. I mean, and look, if he has to make a tackle, he'll make a tackle occasionally. But like I said, there's a lot of flybys, and it's not going to be a formed tackle or anything like that. He kind of just throws his body around. Again, there's no wrap up here. We didn't wrap. We didn't drive our feet for 5. Right. We hit a defenseless receiver who was bobbling a ball. Okay.
He was falling to the ground. Yeah.
He was falling to the ground. Yeah. I mean, but here, again, with the Raiders, use Marcus Epps. He will not be here. He will be back here. He's not going to be in the box. Okay. And this is why. Here. This is an example why. Again, he doesn't wrap up. He lowers his head and dives into contact. Okay. And, against good backs, obviously, that's not going to work. All right. So the YouTube commenters on the live, you got me. He can't tackle. All right. He is a sub cover safety on passing downs. He's not a liability back there. All right. Now, Jaquan Johnson, this is an interesting player here. So first things first, I'm going to talk about, you just saw that play. Okay. You just saw that play from Marcus Epps. Jaquan Johnson, he will come downhill and make tackles This is all over his film. The games that he played in and that he started in, he got a chance to start in for the Bills. He was coming downhill and making a ton of tackles in the open field against guys who are difficult tackles, difficult guys to take down. And you see him here. He's a very feisty guy. He's got a lot of a nasty chippiness to his game, and he has some stopping power as well as being a good tackle. What you see him here when he makes contact with these receivers, their bodies, they stop, they thud, right? And that was all over his film. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Now he's the opposite of Marcus Epps. His coverage is very inconsistent. So this is an eye violation for me. This is a tough offense to play against, granted. Okay, but we get the fast motion. We're in cover 4. We're in quarters, and all of a sudden, this motion guy becomes number 2. So Jaquan Johnson needs to relate to the new number 2. Instead, he's backing up. He's relating to the old number 2, who's the tight end right here, and he misses this pass off here. And he needs to be, if he's relating to the tight end who's number 2, he's going to be now outside, much further outside the hash, and he's going to be able to break on this and contest this. He's just a little late. So, and you see him here, he's just backing up into space. He's not relating to anything. There's no sense of, I'm playing pattern match. I need to work my leverage point on my guy. There's no sense of that. He's just backing up on grass and then breaking on the ball, right? So not enough nuance there. Here's another one that I thought was questionable instincts. Maybe it's just because we're just a little late. We're trying to get a call in. We didn't get it in this situation. It's goal line. They gave us a bunch, and he's not like an every down every week player. He's a guy who's like a rotational player. And then when someone gets hurt, he's thrust into the starting lineup. It's possible that maybe he's just confused on what they should be doing against bunch on the goal line, because there's added nuance there. So, maybe he's just a little, because of that, he's a little late, but he just takes such a strange angle here. I think if he just comes straight forward, he intercepts this, but he goes sideways into the guy, and allows a touchdown, literally right into their coverage. I mean, that's exactly what they were anticipating was going to happen, and they still gave it up. This one's interesting. I don't know if him coming off of his side and coming back around and number 2 hearing footsteps makes him crocodile arm this one a little bit. Could be that he had an effect on it, but also you see, and even the other one that he gave up earlier, and then this one, he's a big hitter.
Good Lord, did he get flagged for that?
Did not get flagged. And this is going back to 2021. He got into the lineup and, had this game-sealing interception. Terrible pass from Davis Webb right there. Hauls that one in. So, it's just a little up and down. This is from last year. They're playing in the cover 2, and you see how high his back pedal is. Okay, and you see him 10 yards out. He starts guessing. He starts turning his hips one way or the other. Okay, you got to just be a little bit more disciplined, a little bit more technical. Can't bite the cheese like that. Allow that down the post. So his coverage is very spotty. So we'll see how they use a guy like Jaquan Johnson. Now, Jordan Willis. Let's hear some good things about Jordan Willis. So I was very interested to pop in the tape on him. One thing I will say, as far as if he's being brought in to play on the edge, okay, look at number 75 out here on the edge. He gives the Raiders a guy who can now, Max Crosby doesn't have to play on first down. 75 can play on the edge, set the edge, make plays against the run here, Jordan Willis. And you see him here shooting into the backfield, getting in on this tackle. Oh, you want to just give like a regular athlete at QB, a zone read? Nah, Jordan Willis is not going to allow that to happen. He's going to run that to the sideline here, okay? But as far as being a pass rusher, a guy who comes in on third downs, I would say probably not. This is not where you want him. You see how he struggles to detach. And whenever he makes a hit on the quarterback, it's because the quarterback broke the pocket, and just is going where the blockers are not intending. That's the only time he really ever makes a hit on the quarterback. But you see him here. This is probably his best rush. Going to go ahead and go for that stab bull. Okay, we're going to go ahead. Arm under, so rip under to detach. So we're setting up a couple moves here in a row. Detach, gets in on that sack. Okay, so that's probably his best pass rush last year. We're going to look at a couple more of his sacks just to kind of give you an idea, add some context here. So this is another one. He goes for the bull rush, right? Okay, he's pad level way too high, so he gets stymied early in that bull rush here. Okay. And he's kind of struggling to detach and get to another sack, get to another move here, and Heineke backs up right into him. Now, I'm not trying to be negative on this one because obviously he's a powerful guy, right? But does this look like the most impressive pass rush win or anything like that to you?
Oh no, the quarterback could have stepped up.
Yeah. All right, so here's another one. And there is an impressive because this is one of the few times I saw him use this move. You got that two-handed swipe here, okay, and to get around the corner. But it also, again, quarterback work breaks the pocket, so it's a hustle kind of sack. We're not going to see him, at least on his film from previous years. We're not going to see him like get past the guy and then turn that corner and get a sack when the quarterback's in the pocket or something like that. Like that's not the type of guy that we're talking about. But as far as providing a sub on the defensive line, yeah, I think there's some things there to work with. I mean, biggest thing with Jordan Willis is his size jumps out at me, and I think he's too big to play on the edge. To be honest with you, I would like to see maybe play on the edge to give Max Crosby, Chandler Jones a rest on first downs when they're trying to run it at you, right? And on those games where you go up against heavy run teams, take Chandler Jones out, take Max Crosby out for first downs, put that guy in. Great. He can set the edge. But what I'm interested in is maybe he can rush the passer from 3 technique. You saw how big that guy is. He looks like he's like around 280 pounds or something, 6'4", 280. I would like to see maybe if that's where he can make more of an impact. And it's interesting because watching his film, like he was like literally their 5th defensive end, right?
Mm-hmm. Like way back there, rarely played. So
deep on the depth chart, right? So it could be that they were like, we like this guy, but where's the spot for him? You know what I'm saying? So he's played so few and far between. His snaps were so few and far between that I'm not convinced that that's necessarily going to be his role on the Raiders. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, it was interesting, because the thought process behind Marcus Epps, I think he really showed that. I mean, he's kind of always in the right spot, usually always doing the right thing, even in zone coverage. What I saw when they were playing a lot of that, man match type of stuff they were playing against the Chiefs, I thought he did a really good job on discipline. Like, Gardner Johnson was messing up and slipping. Marcus Epps was, making sure that they were in the right spots, and he was always making the right decisions. So he's a smart guy. That he's really going to pick up everything, and he's going to be sound, right? He's not going to be great.
Sound, right?
Sound.
Yes, he's going to be sound. He will be sound. Yes.
Yes, he's going to be a solid player, right? But Jaquan Johnson, I think that was interesting. I don't know if how he's going to make this team. I really think he's the box guy. They're talking about bringing back Deron Harmon a little bit. I keep hearing that, but I don't know where I'm hearing that from. It's probably nothing. It's probably not going to happen because I keep hearing.
They better bring back Deron Harmon. This is not going to be good enough, honestly. But we shall see. We shall see about that. Next week, I will do the corners. I'll do Shelley and Face On, and maybe even David Long.
Yeah.
So we'll see about that.
So it'll be interesting. Just a quick question on that. Do you think? it's hard for me for them to go with these guys going into the season. But does Long or Faison, like, do those guys have a chance to start? Do you think those have a chance to start on this team?
Start? Whoa. Okay. I mean, Long started, in Tennessee, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to go get that?
No, I'm good.
Okay. So Long started in Tennessee. And up until, he got hurt. So, yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to compete for a starting position. I mean, who do the Raiders even have at corner right now?
David Long, Duke Shelley, Nate Hobbs, Amik Robertson, and
Sam Webb, yeah.
Yeah, Sam Webb.
Tyler Hall. Yeah, I mean, this is wide open. There's no like guy I can say like for sure is just, you know what I'm saying? Like Nate Hobbs even struggled last year. So obviously Nate Hobbs is going to get the first shot at starting here, but then yeah, it's anyone's game. Faison's going to come in and compete his butt off. But I looking at that cornerback room, even if I turn on the film and Duke Shelley's like awesome, amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Still got to draft the corner.
Yeah, and they probably will draft multiple. That's the thing, like. So you get like 800 fifth-round picks, man. I don't know what their plan is with all those fifth-round picks. Can we trade? Yeah, why were they trading for players? I mean, they should have just you get a fifth. You get a fifth. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just
yeah, I know.
Like Shaq Mason went for a 6th-round pick. We had like 7 of those. I don't understand why you couldn't offer one of the fifths for Shaq Mason.
Oh, we just got some breaking news on the pod here.
What happened? What did we get?
John Jenkins from Miami. Defensive tackle from Miami, John Jenkins.
He signed with the Raiders?
Signed with the Raiders.
Former Apache Graham guy, John Jenkins.
Yeah, maybe.
We're at camp body time. They just need to stop announcing these things. Just do a press release. Cam Sims. Like, is Cam Sims going to make this team? If Cam Sims is playing, we're in trouble. It's gotta, I don't care how highlights you showed me.
Oh, that John Jenkins. John Jenkins from Georgia. John Jenkins. He's been in the NFL for like 10 years now.
Oh, yeah. So we're getting those. We're getting camp bodies. We're getting camp bodies. It's camp body season. It is camp body season. So,
right.
Yeah, I'm not. A lot of these signings, people try to hype them up and like this guy's gonna do that. I'm like, no, you guys gonna be saying Jimmy. If Devontae Adams gets hurt and Cam Sims is playing, you're gonna say Jimmy G has no help. We're gonna be making excuses for him. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't have any help this year. Offensive line wasn't working. He had to throw to Cam Sims.
Right.
Yeah.
The cycle always continues. It'll never end.
Give him another shot next year. If he goes all into next year with all the weapons, and then we'll talk about week 7. They traded Darren Waller. They took away one of his weapons. What'd you expect after dogging him for this whole time?
Eventually they're gonna be like, we're just a tight end away.
Yeah, that was funny. All right. Anything else, BD?
That's it, man.
All right, guys. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. We're out of here. Hope you guys enjoyed that quick little defensive, and then we'll be back with some more offense. Do some Austin Hooper. I might do some OJ Howard. I don't know. I guess I could, find like one of his one snaps. He did like 2 games on a bad. He didn't play on a bad team. That's my thing. Should have been a starting tight end or the Texans. You should have been, bro. I'm sorry. So subscribe. And we'll do that, and we'll get into that.